Hey guys, this is Russ with Razor's Edge Combat Elite, and today I want to talk about a wrestler who I feel is at the top of the list for the most physical wrestlers of all time. And that wrestler's name is Mark Schultz. Now, before I go any further, allow me to elaborate on what I mean when I use the word physical. When we speak of physicality in wrestling, we're referring to a combination of power and explosiveness, which result in a tremendous amount of force being exerted towards one's opponent. Some of our younger audience may recognize the name Mark Schultz from the recently released critically acclaimed film entitled Foxcatcher, which is based on Mark's book and includes a star-studded cast with Steve Carell, Mark Ruffalo, and Channing Tatum, who actually played Mark. For those of you who are familiar with the wrestling scene of the 1980s, I'm sure you're familiar with Mark's name, not only because of his impressive resume, but also because he's one half of one of wrestling's most well-known and successful brother duos, along with his brother Dave, who was an amazing wrestler in his own right and was highly regarded. I'm planning on doing a video on Dave later on, but for now, let's focus on Mark. So, according to Mark, he and his brother bounced around a bit in their youth due to their parents being separated, but they spent the majority of their high school years in California. Interestingly enough, Mark actually started his athletic career in gymnastics. It's a well known fact that gymnasts are among the most explosive and pound for pound strongest athletes in the world. And I'm willing to bet that this has a lot to do with Mark's ability to develop his naturally gifted physique and athletic talent. He went on to win a few titles in gymnastics during his high school years. As a matter of fact, Mark was even known for doing a patented backflip after winning a big match. But eventually, Mark would switch over to wrestling as a result of the attention that his brother was receiving for his success on the mat. And due to his athleticism, Mark experienced success in a short period of time after switching over to wrestling. And he even won a state title in the highly regarded state of California. So this led him to becoming a top prospect of many of the top collegiate programs at the time. Eventually, Mark would attend UCLA during his freshman year, but he would go on to transfer to join his brother Dave at the University of Oklahoma. Mark would go on to have a tremendous career at Oklahoma, and he actually went on to become a three-time NCAA champion while he was there. During his career, he defeated a highly touted wrestler from the University of Iowa by the name of Ed Benak, who was actually on his way to becoming the first four-time NCAA champion in history. As a result of that victory, Mark received the Outstanding Wrestler Award of the tournament. Mark's success continued into his senior year when he went on to set the single season win record at Oklahoma on his way to another NCAA title. And then after college, Mark jumped right into the international scene. He and Dave would go on to win gold in the 1984 Olympics, but their victories were not without controversy. It turns out that not everybody appreciated the physical styles of the Schultz brothers when they were both accused of excessive brutality. After Dave had injured an opponent and Mark broke the elbow of his Turkish opponent using basically what's called a hammer or a Kia lock, which is similar to a Kimura in MMA. The move has since been banned, partially probably due to Mark's Olympic performance. The Olympic Committee even went as far as assigning a special referee to keep an eye on the brothers to ensure that they were wrestling within the rules. Regardless, the brothers emerged victorious, and Mark will go on to win world championship titles in both 85 and 87, essentially making him a two-time world champion and Olympic champion. So as Mark's competitive career was winding down, he took a job coaching at Brigham Young University before they would eventually drop the program. With the competitive fire still burning, Mark would go on to compete in what many consider to be the greatest test of toughness in the world by fighting in the Ultimate Fighting Championship. This was before the UFC had instituted weight classes and gloves, but Mark fought a really tough opponent in Gary Goodrich, but his physicality carried over well as he won in the first round by TKO due to strikes. Flow Wrestling did a great documentary on Mark a couple of years ago, and he still looks great into his 50s. He still maintains that same powerful build, and he can walk on his hands and still demonstrates a lot of athleticism. And I'm sure he'd give a lot of people trouble on the mat even still today. That about does it for our profile on Mark Schultz. If you enjoyed the video, please consider subscribing to our channel for more, as well as leaving an opinion in the comment section below. Until next time, thanks for watching.